Hey, thank you for taking the time to click on today's video. So first, let me apologize about the voice. My children are like little petri dishes on two legs. And so when you go camping with them, if they have a cold, well, rest assured, it's a 99.9% chance that you're going to get it as the parent. Anyway, today's video is a bit of a rant, and I hope it's not offensive. I really don't mean it in that respect, but I have to say I wish that you would quit listening to your friends. The other day I met with a couple that were clients of mine for a short period of time, an older couple, and my heart just went out to them. They came in and they looked like they had lost their last friend. The gentleman had recently gone through his fifth stroke. 5 strokes. And it was a wonder that the guy was still walking. He was still functional. He had a little bit of a walker. But this guy obviously was so emotionally impacted by the stroke and by everything that was going on. And they came in to speak to their advisor because all of their friends were basically telling them that they were going to lose everything. They were going to lose the farm. They were going to lose the house. They were going to lose everything. His wife was going to be absolutely out on her ear. He was going to go into the nursing home. He was going to chew up all of the assets. And this guy is literally crying in my office. My heart went out to them, and I felt bad for them. But I also became somewhat indignant and angry about their friends. Because you know what? Your friends might be smart people in some ways, but when it comes to financial matters, most of your friends really don't know what's going on. So I want to take the time today to share a little bit of insight with respect to what happens as a person ages, as they get a little bit older, and they start to face sometimes the inevitable of going into a nursing home. Now, it doesn't mean that these things are going to be pleasant. It doesn't mean that these things are going to be easy to go through. But the reality is that when people tell me, or I hear the phrase, the nursing home took my farm, or I don't want the nursing home to take my farm, it shows that they have absolute ignorance as to what goes on with respect to the nursing home. So let me clarify something for you, if I may. And this video is going to be potentially a little bit longer, but I encourage you to watch it to the end. Number one, a nursing home has absolutely no right to take anything. No one gives the authority to the nursing home to take any of your assets. What happens is when you go into the nursing home, you're rendering a service. You're going into the nursing home because you can't care for yourself, and therefore you need someone else to provide that care for you because your spouse is no longer able to do it, or maybe you're in a situation where you don't have a spouse, or your family is not able to take care of you because your situation is too far advanced. So when you go into that nursing home and you're rendering a service, you're also going to receive a bill. If I go through the drive-through and I order a cheeseburger, I have rendered a service, and I must then pay for the service that I rendered. So what is all of this about the nursing home taking my farm, the nursing home taking all of my assets? Well, when a person goes into the nursing home, they obviously know that they're going to be rendering a service. They obviously know that there's going to be a cost that is associated with the care. And once they realize that they have no other choice, they have to go into the nursing home, then the question becomes, how am I going to go ahead and pay for it? Now, let's say that you haven't done any planning for long-term care. Let's say that you just simply thought that it would never come into your life, and so you never did anything about it. And so you found yourself in the situation where you had to go into the nursing home, or your spouse had to put you there, and now you're rendering the service. Well, obviously, you're going to be what's called a self-pay. That means that you're going to be using your own assets, money out of your own bank, out of your own investments, in order to pay for that service. Now, once a person runs out of cash, that's when the person feels stuck. They're like, well, I guess I'm out of cash. I don't know what else to do. But this is where people then turn to the state of Iowa and they turn to a program called Medicaid. Now, Medicaid, before they're going to help pay for your long-term care, they're going to do something called an inventory of assets. This is like a forensic investigation into your life, and they're going to find out what assets you own. And if you think you're going to cover up assets, well, think again, because they're going to be pretty thorough about it. They're going to know what you have in the bank. They're going to know what you have in annuities. They're going to know what you have in life insurance. They're going to know what you have for income. They're going to know what you have in asset value. This bucket behind me represents your life. It represents your assets. And for simple math, let's say that you're a married individual, you go into the nursing home, and you have $530,000 worth of assets. These assets could include money in the bank, it could include a farm, it could include a collection of muscle cars, it could be anything. It's an asset. It's something you own that your name is attached to. And you know, Medicaid is a very useful program. Medicaid is something that people who are indigent, people who do not have resources, well, they have to look to Medicaid. Medicaid is like welfare for people over the age of 65. So the state of Iowa is going to investigate what kind of assets you have, and then the state of Iowa is going to say, listen, we know you're in a tough spot. We know that you're in the nursing home, that you're rendering a service, that you need to pay for the service, and we know that you need our help. But the reality is that we can't help you, not yet. You see, you own these assets back here. You own the farm, you own the money that's in the bank, you own the money that's in the annuity, the money that's in the brokerage account. And you see, before we can help you, we have to make you go through what's called a spend down process. Now, what is the spend down process? The spend down process is basically where they ask you to spend your assets. Now, what does that mean? What if you're completely out of cash? What if you don't have any cash? You've just got your Social Security, maybe you're lucky enough to have a pension, but you really don't have any cash. You're out of resources that are liquid. Now you only have, say, that farm. Well, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to sell the farm. But here's the thing. Is there any law anywhere that says that you have to sell the entire farm? And the answer is no, there's not. My client had 120 acres of farm ground. And everyone kept telling him and telling his wife, you're going to lose the farm, you're going to lose the farm, you're going to lose the farm. That's not true. You see, what we have to do is we have to liquidate enough in order to cover our bills. Because do you know when you're going to die? No, you don't know when you're going to die. So in this particular case, do you have to go and sell the entire farm right up front, realize capital gains, give that portion to the state and to the federal government, and then just turn over the rest of the money to the nursing home? No, because you're rendering a service to the nursing home one month at a time. So in this case, the spend down process is not a pleasant one, but you incrementally liquidate your assets. Now, the question for many spouses that are left behind, the spouses that are not in the nursing home, let's say the husband went into the nursing home and the spouse is at home. Well, this is where my wife's client, my client's wife, she is absolutely beside herself because all of her friends are saying, oh, you're going to lose the house. Where are you going to live? Well, that too is a bunch of negligent foolishness. Because you see, that's not the way that it works. When a spouse goes into the nursing home and they're rendering the service, they've got to pay for it. If they don't have the money, but they have too many resources, they've got to go through the spend down process. Well, let's say that they're going through that process. And let's say that they make it from $530,000 all the way down to $130,000. Now, what's so significant about $130,000? $130,000 represents what's called spousal impoverishment protection. That means that the spouse who's left behind, the spouse that's in the home, number one, she can keep the home. She can keep the home, she can live in the home, she can own the home. Number two, she can maintain up to $130,000 worth of non-exempt assets. This is money in an annuity, money in life insurance, money in a brokerage account, cash in the bank, CDs. So you see, you're not going to lose the farm. You're not going to lose the house. Now, if you stay in the nursing home long enough, you might have to liquidate enough of the farm, or you may end up having to liquidate all of the farm and sell it. I don't know. But you see, this idea that it's just a once and done, all of a sudden someone flicks a switch and they take your home, they take your farm, they take everything that you have. They have no authority to do that. The state of Iowa doesn't even have the authority to do that. The state of Iowa just simply says, hey, if you want our help, you have to be able to spend down these resources, because this program is designed only for those that are truly indigent. Now, does it make this any more palatable? Does it make the spend down any more friendly? And the answer is no. So this is really where I encourage, as your fiduciary, as a financial advisor, that you absolutely need to be thinking about how you're going to protect yourself, how you're going to protect your spouse, how you're going to protect your assets. And even the state of Iowa has given you a solution. It's called the Partnership Program. And what is the Partnership Program? The Partnership Program says, listen, as the state of Iowa, if you go out and you purchase for yourself a long-term care policy, and it is truly a certified partnership plan, qualified plan, and let's say that you decide to purchase this partnership long-term care policy and it has $250,000, let's say, of benefit, and you use up all $250,000 of benefits out of that policy, and then you have to go on to the Medicaid program, you have to go through the spend down process, we promise not to touch $250,000 worth of assets, because you showed diligence in actually trying to work to protect yourself. So you see, I don't care if you use a partnership long-term care policy. I don't care if you use a hybrid life insurance / long-term care policy in order to provide yourself some protection for what could be an inevitable situation in your life. But I ask you, number one, to quit listening to your friends because they may not be giving you correct information. And number two, take the initiative necessary to protect yourself from this situation. If you're worried about, well, I may buy long-term care and then never use it, and look at all the premiums that were wasted. You know what? That's a plausible excuse. But how long have you owned homeowners insurance and maybe your house has never burned to the ground? How long have you owned automobile coverage and you've never totaled your car? So there's lots of things in life that we spend money on as a protection that we never use. But for some reason, the idea or the concept of spending money for long-term care protection when it's about a 50% chance that you're going to need long-term care in the future, which is way higher than your house burning to the ground or you getting into a car accident, somehow that just doesn't seem to register as a viable liability that we should cover. So I hope that this has shed some light on this idea of long-term care. And I hope I didn't come across as being too dogmatic, but I want you to know the truth because it's the truth that sets us free. And once we know the truth, then we can say, okay, that's all white noise. That's all garbage. I don't need to listen to that. I'm just going to pay attention to the facts. And again, this isn't fun. I've never had a single client that went through this that said, boy, that was a real breeze. I would prefer to see the client be proactive and cover themselves for this liability in advance of the liability. But today, I hope that this has given you some food for thought, a little bit of clarity. Again, if you have questions, please reach out to us. Amanda or myself are here to help educate you on the universe of options that you have. And how are you going to pay for it? Well, that's the best news you've heard all day, because guess what? We're the ones that help you to take your money that you've saved for retirement and turn it into income. Income that you could be using to pay for the protections to keep you from something like this. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Matthew Johnson. Oh, if I could ask you to do me one favor, please. Somewhere on this YouTube video, there's probably a thumbs up. If you liked the video, if you appreciated the information that I shared with you today, I ask you to give me a thumbs up. It's always helpful. I also encourage you, please share this truth with your friends. Hit the share button, share it with the rest of your friends. They need to hear it too. And number 3, if you like our little videos and you haven't subscribed, I encourage you, hit the subscribe button and then smash that little bell. I think it's down here somewhere, maybe over here, I have no idea. But hit that little bell, and this way you're notified every single time we have a video that is released. Blessings to you, and remember, it's up to you to make today a great day. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Matthew Johnson.